this SUV belong to?
It's mine.
No, I'm serious. Whose vehicle is this?
I just told you it's registered to me.
You think I'm dumb enough to believe someone like you owns a car like this?
You can run the plates.
Step away from the vehicle right now. Luxury car theft is high around here, and someone like you standing next to this one fits the...
A man is loading luggage into a black Tahoe in his own driveway when a patrol car rolls up and parks 2 houses down. By the time this is over, the officer stepping out of that cruiser will lose his badge, his pension, and any future in law enforcement over a phone call that should never have been made. Sunday afternoon, early October, Ridgecrest Drive, the kind of street where garage doors stay open and nobody locks their cars. A kid on a scooter 3 houses down. Sprinklers ticking across a front lawn. Somewhere behind a fence, a lawnmower hums and cuts out. Nothing happening. Nothing ever happens here. Officer Kevin Marsh crosses the street, hand on his holster, jaw set. He got the call 90 seconds ago. A neighbor reported a black male acting suspiciously around an SUV, possibly attempting to steal it, possibly armed. No evidence for either claim, just a voice on a phone and 2 words that move patrol cars. The man has his back turned. He's adjusting a garment bag in the trunk, sliding it beside 2 hard-shell suitcases and a laptop case. Everything packed clean. Organized. The way someone packs when they travel often and don't have time to think about it. His front door is open behind him. His wife's voice drifts from somewhere inside the house, asking if he grabbed the charger from the nightstand. His keys are sitting on the roof of the Tahoe. He hears the footsteps on the driveway. Straightens up, turns, sees the uniform, and does something that will seem strange on the body cam, but makes sense later. He doesn't speak first, doesn't ask what's going on, doesn't reach for his phone. He closes the trunk slowly, sets both hands on the edge of it, all fingers spread, fully visible, and waits. Eyes on Marsh, not on his face, on his hands, his belt, his approach angle, not the way a startled homeowner reacts, the way someone trained to study people under pressure positions themselves. Someone who knows that the first thing the other person says always tells you exactly who you're dealing with. Sir, step away from the vehicle. The man looks at him. Calm, almost clinical. Why? 1 word. No explanation. No. I live here. Just a clean question pushed back across the driveway. And Marsh wasn't expecting a question. He was expecting compliance. That gap between what Marsh planned and what's actually happening is where everything starts to break. I got a call about this vehicle, Marsh says. Report of a suspicious individual. The man doesn't look at the Tahoe, keeps his eyes on Marsh. Suspicious how? Marsh shifts his weight. Possible vehicle theft. The man glances down at the luggage visible through the Tahoe's rear window, then at the open front door behind him, then back at Marsh. Who reported that? Marsh stiffens. That's not your concern. The man nods once, slowly, like he's cataloging the answer. Go on. Is this your vehicle? Yes. You live here? The man looks over his shoulder. At the hallway light on inside. The shoes lined up on the mat. A jacket hanging on the hook by the door. Then back at Marsh. What does that look like to you? Marsh's jaw tightens. I'm asking the questions. The man doesn't argue, doesn't push back. He tilts his head slightly and says, Go ahead. It's something about the way he says it. Not permission, invitation. The way someone opens a door and lets you walk through it because they already know what's on the other side. You got paperwork for this? Marsh points at the Tahoe. In the glove box. Registration, also in the glove box, along with the insurance. Then a pause. The man looks at Marsh the way you look at someone who's skipping steps and doesn't realize it yet. You haven't asked me my name. Marsh blinks. You pulled up to a house. You see a man loading luggage in front of an open front door. Keys on the roof of the car. And your first move is to ask if the car is stolen. The man's voice doesn't rise. Stays level, measured. You skipped about 4 steps. I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. I'm not telling you how. I'm noticing how. That lands, quiet, surgical. Yet Marsh's next sentence comes out louder than it needs to. I need to see some ID now. It's inside. The man gestures toward the front door. I'll go get it. No, you're not going anywhere. I'm offering to get you what you're asking for. And I'm telling you to stay right here. From inside the house, a woman's voice. Babe, everything okay out there? A woman steps into the doorway. Mid-30s, tank top, hair pulled back. Looks at the officer, then at her husband, then at the officer's hand resting near his belt. Her expression sharpens immediately. What's going on? Ma'am, stay inside. Marsh's hand goes up. She doesn't move. That's my husband. Marsh doesn't acknowledge it. Doesn't look at her. Doesn't process that a woman just came out of the house in her own clothes, in her own doorway. Ace and identified the man standing in the driveway as her husband, in front of his own front door, surrounded by his own luggage. He keeps his eyes on the man. I'm not going to ask again. The man exhales slowly. My ID is inside my house. My wife is standing right there. My name is on the mailbox at the end of the driveway. He pauses. What exactly do you need that you don't already have? For half a second, something flickers across Marsh's face. Something that could have been doubt. The moment a different officer would have stopped, recalibrated. But Marsh isn't a different officer. 3 prior complaints in his file already prove that. A second cruiser pulls up. Officer Torres. 8 years on the force. Stocky. Sunglasses still on, despite the fading afternoon light. He walks up the driveway with the energy of someone who's already chosen a side before hearing a word. What do we got? Possible 1. O-851, Marsh says. He won't cooperate. The man looks at Torres. I offered my registration. I offered to get my ID. My wife confirmed I live here. What part of that is uncooperative? Torres doesn't answer. He looks at Marsh. Marsh gives a single nod. The kind that isn't communication. It's recruitment. Torres steps to the other side of the driveway. Now they're flanking him. 2 officers positioned between the man and his own front door. His wife still standing in the doorway. Phone now in her hand. Recording. Sir, Torres says, step away from the vehicle. Hands behind your back. The man looks at Torres, then at Marsh, then at the narrowing space between them and his own front door. Am I being arrested for standing in my own driveway? Neither of them answers. Torres grabs his arm. Not a guide. A grip. The kind that leaves fingerprints. The man doesn't resist, doesn't pull back. His body stays neutral, weight centered, feet planted. He moves the way someone moves when they know that resistance, even accidental, gives people like this exactly what they're looking for. I'm not resisting, he says. Clear. Loud enough for the doorway. Loud enough for the Ring camera mounted above the front door that Marsh still hasn't noticed. Loud enough for his wife's phone. The cuffs click shut. Tight. Too tight for compliance. The metal bites into his wrists. His wife comes down the porch steps, voice breaking between fear and fury. That's my husband. You are handcuffing my husband in our driveway. Ma'am, I need you to step back, Marsh says. For what? She's closer now. Phone steady in her hand. And tell me what he did. Marsh turns toward her. Ma'am, step back. She doesn't. She raises the phone higher. I'm recording everything. That's fine. But his voice tightens around the word like it isn't fine at all. The man stands in his own driveway, cuffed, 3 feet from his own front door, his luggage still visible through the back window of a Tahoe registered in his name, insured in his name, parked in front of a house deeded in his name, on a street where his neighbors know him by his first name. Marsh walks to the Tahoe, tries the driver's door. It's unlocked. I don't consent to a search, the man says. Marsh pauses, hand on the handle. I do not consent to a search of my vehicle. Slower, louder. The way someone speaks when they know the exact legal weight of every word leaving their mouth, and they want it captured cleanly on every recording device within earshot. Marsh opens the door. He pulls the registration from the center console, holds it for a second, doesn't read it, drops it on the passenger seat. He leans into the back and unzips the laptop bag. That's a federal laptop, the man says. Marsh pauses. His hand stays on the bag, then keeps going. Pulls the laptop halfway out. Standard issue ThinkPad. Gray. No stickers, no decoration. A small white asset tag on the lower corner. 3 lines of text. Agency name, department, asset number. Marsh slides it back in, doesn't read the tag. He moves to the back of the Tahoe and opens the trunk, looks through the suitcases, unzips the garment bag. Inside, a charcoal suit. Pressed. Yay next to it, a white dress shirt still in dry cleaning plastic. A leather portfolio. He flips it open. Printed itinerary. Flight confirmation, hotel booking. A meeting agenda with a Department of Justice letterhead, visible through the clear sleeve. He closes the portfolio, puts it back, shuts the trunk. Before we continue, subscribe if you haven't already. Because what this officer does next doesn't just cross a line, it erases one. From across the street, a door opens. An older man steps out. Mid-60s, white, cardigan over a polo shirt, reading glasses pushed up on his forehead. He's lived on this street for 11 years, and he's been watching from his front window for the last 6 minutes. He crosses the street, slow but deliberate, the walk of a man who's made a decision. Officers. Excuse me. Marsh turns. Sir, this is an active scene. The older man ignores that. I know this man. He points at the man in handcuffs. That's Marcus. He's my neighbor. Lived here 4 years. That's his wife, Nicole, on the porch. His 2 kids are probably inside right now. They had us over for the 4th of July. He looks at Marsh directly. What is happening here? Torres steps toward him. Sir, we need you to step back to your property. The older man doesn't move. He looks at the handcuffs. Then the open car door. Then Marsh. This man is not stealing anything. That's his house. That's his car. He gestures broadly. Everyone on this street knows that. Sir, Marsh's voice hardens. I'm not going to ask you again. Return to your property, now. The man in cuffs catches his neighbor's eyes, gives him a small nod, barely perceptible, the kind that says, I'm okay. I know what this is. Let it play out. The neighbor hesitates, then steps back, slowly, but he doesn't go inside. He stands at the edge of his own lawn, arms folded. His wife appears at their front window now, watching. Phone in hand. 5 recording devices now. The wife's phone on the porch, the neighbor's wife at the window. The Ring doorbell mounted above the front door, Marsh's body cam, Torres's body cam. Every angle covered, every word preserved, and Marsh still doesn't know about the one above the door. Marsh turns back to the man. Who else is in the house? Nobody. Just my wife. Marsh looks at the open front door, then at Torres. We should clear it. The man's expression changes for the first time. Not fear, not anger, disbelief. You're not entering my home. If this vehicle is stolen, I have reason to believe it's not stolen. My registration is sitting on the passenger seat where you threw it. Marsh talks over him. I need to determine if there's additional stolen property inside. The man stares at him. You haven't verified a single detail from the call that brought you here. My wife identified me. My neighbor identified me. My registration is in the car. My front door was open when you arrived. My luggage was packed in my trunk. He pauses. You have nothing. Every sentence a closed door, delivered by someone who doesn't just know the law from a pamphlet, someone who has sat across tables from people and used it, built cases with it, taken careers apart with it. Marsh turns to Torres. Watch him. He walks toward the front door. The wife blocks the doorway, shoulders square. Phone still recording. You're not coming inside my house. Ma'am, step aside. No. A, you don't have a warrant. You don't have my permission. You don't have my husband's permission. You are not coming in. Marsh stops. 2 feet from the door, the Ring camera directly above his head. His body cam directly facing her. Every angle covered. This is his last off-ramp. He could stop, pick up the registration, read the name, walk to the mailbox, talk to the neighbor properly. Everything up to this moment can be explained. Aggressive, sloppy, but survivable. He puts his hand on the doorframe and pushes past her into the house. The man's phone buzzes in his pocket. Ring app, front door, motion detected. A screenshot of Officer Kevin Marsh crossing the threshold of a home he has no legal right to enter. The corner of the man's mouth shifts, not a smile. The expression of someone who knows that what just happened cannot be taken back. Not by an apology, not by a report, not by anything. Marsh moves through the hallway. Family photos lining both walls going up the stairs. Birthday parties, beach vacations, a Christmas shot with matching pajamas, the man, the wife, 2 kids, smiling in this house. He doesn't slow down. Living room, clean, a toy bin in the corner, crayons on the coffee table, a coloring book open to a half-finished page, a sippy cup on the end table, the TV on mute, showing a football game nobody's watching anymore, kitchen, dishes in the drying rack, a grocery list stuck to the fridge with a magnet, a child's drawing tape next to it, Daddy at work written in purple crayon above a stick figure holding something rectangular, a badge, big, square, unmistakable. Marsh walks right past it, down the hallway off the kitchen, one door open at the end. He steps inside and stops. An office, neat, organized, and a desk against the far wall, dual monitors, both dark, a printer, a filing cabinet with a combination lock, bookshelves covering both walls, federal criminal law, counterterrorism procedural manuals, interrogation methodology, behavioral analysis textbooks, case law volumes with colored tabs marking specific pages. On the wall behind the desk, framed, centered, a certificate from the FBI Academy, Quantico, Virginia. Below it, a formal graduation photo. The man from the driveway. Younger, clean-shaven, navy blue suit, standing in a row of graduates. The FBI seal above their heads. American flag behind them, next to it. Another frame, a commendation letter. Department of Justice, for outstanding service in a domestic counterterrorism investigation. The man's name printed clearly at the top. The same name on the mailbox Marsh didn't check. On the registration Marsh didn't read. On the deed to the house, Marsh just entered uninvited. On the desk, beside the monitor, a leather credential case. Marsh reaches for it, hesitates, then opens it. A gold badge, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Special Agent. The photo ID beneath it, the man's face, current, active, real. Marsh sets the case down. His fingers are shaking, not much, but enough. He looks around the room one more time, at the shelves, at the filing cabinet, at a framed photo on the corner of the desk. The man in a tactical vest, standing with a team of agents. Nobody smiling, all of them armed. The kind of photo taken after something went right that could have gone very wrong. He walks back through the hallway, past the kitchen, past the crayon drawing on the fridge he should have seen the first time. He has to pass the family photos on the wall he should have seen the first time. Every step heavier than the one before. He steps back onto the porch, into the late afternoon light, and everything about him is different. His posture, his face, his hands. The authority he walked in with stayed somewhere between the hallway and that desk. The wife is at the bottom of the porch steps now, phone to her ear, not recording anymore, talking, low, sharp, controlled. Yes. I need to speak to Supervisory Special Agent Dillard. This is his wife. She pauses. I don't care if he's in a briefing. My husband is in handcuffs in our driveway right now. 2 officers. She pauses again. Ridgecrest Drive. She looks directly at Marsh. Tell him to call the precinct. Now. Supervisory Special Agent. Not entry level, not field rank. Senior leadership, case oversight. Deal with the kind of title that puts you in rooms with assistant directors, federal prosecutors, and people who can end a local cop's career with a single phone call on a Sunday afternoon. Marsh steps off the porch. The man hasn't moved, still cuffed, still standing beside his Tahoe. Torres next to him, hand on his arm, guarding a man who doesn't need guarding in front of a house that belongs to him. The man sees the shift instantly, reads it like a page in a file, the shoulders dropping, the jaw loosening, the eyes going unfocused when someone's brain is trying to rewrite the last 20 minutes into something survivable. You went inside my house, the man says. Marsh says nothing, without a warrant, without consent, without probable cause. Same tone it's been from the start, level, controlled, but something different underneath now, not anger. Izzy's authority, the kind you can't clip onto a belt at the start of a shift and take off at the end. And you open my credential case. Torres looks at Marsh, confused, still doesn't understand. Take the cuffs off, Marsh says quietly. What? Take them off. Torres frowns. Why? Marsh doesn't explain. He walks over, pulls his key, and unlocks the cuffs himself. They come off with a click. The man brings his wrists forward, red marks on both. He rubs them once, rolls his shoulders, adjusts his shirt. No relief on his face, no satisfaction, no anger, just patience. The kind that comes from knowing this isn't ending, it's beginning. Marsh's radio crackles. Unit 14, what's your status on Ridgecrest? The voice is different, tighter. The tone dispatch uses when something has come down from above, and everyone in the chain already knows about it. Oh, Marsh keys the radio. On scene. Situation is... He pauses. Under control. Silence. Then, your watch commander is requesting you return to the precinct immediately. Both units. Torres stares at Marsh. Both? The man picks up his keys from the roof of the Tahoe, presses the fob. The trunk closes with a soft thud. He looks at his wife on the porch. She's off the phone now, arms crossed, eyes red, not crying. Past that. He looks at Marsh one last time. You had my registration in your hand. You had my wife in front of you telling you I live here. You had my neighbor confirming it from across the street. He pauses. And you still walked into my house. Marsh says nothing. There is nothing to say. The man nods, slowly, like someone closing a file. I'll see you again. But next time, I'll be the one asking the questions. He turns, walks up the porch steps, puts his hand on his wife's back. They step inside together. The door closes. The Ring camera keeps recording. Torres pulls away first. No conversation, no debrief, no eye contact. Just taillights disappearing around the corner and gone. Marsh sits in his cruiser for 40 seconds before turning the key, staring through the windshield at a house he just walked through uninvited. At a Tahoe he just searched without consent. At a mailbox he never read. Planted at the end of a driveway where he handcuffed a federal agent while his children were inside. He drives back to the precinct. Doesn't make it past the hallway. Captain Angela Reeves is standing outside the watch commander's office. Not sitting, standing, feet apart, hands clasped. The posture of someone who's already received a phone call she didn't want, and is about to have a conversation she can't take back. Close the door. Marsh steps in. Starts explaining. Gets 2 sentences in. On dispatch call, suspicious vehicle, uncooperative individual. Did you enter the residence? Marsh stops. Kevin, did you enter the residence? Yes. Reeves doesn't react. She picks up a single sheet of paper from the desk. Doesn't read from it. Doesn't need to. Supervisory Special Agent Marcus Dillard, FBI, 12 years of service. Assigned to the Joint Terrorism Task Force out of the Regional Field Office. Prior to that, 4 years undercover narcotics. Criminal justice degree from Howard University. Top of his class at Quantico. She sets the paper down. That's who you handcuffed. That's whose car you searched without consent. Whose home you entered without a warrant. Whose wife you pushed past while she told you to stop. She pauses. 20 minutes ago, I received a phone call from the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility. Yeah, not an email, not a message. A phone call. On a Sunday afternoon. Badge. Gun. The badge comes off. The sound it makes hitting the desk is small, metallic, ordinary. The kind of sound that shouldn't carry weight, but carries all of it. The gun follows, grip first. Placed on the wood. Administrative leave, effective immediately. Don't speak to Torres. Don't speak to the union. Don't speak to anyone until you hear from Internal Affairs. Marsh nods. Go home. Then, quieter. While you still know what that feels like. The investigation takes 3 weeks, every second of body cam footage reviewed, every frame of the Ring doorbell footage reviewed side by side, every radio transmission pulled and time-stamped. And then they pull his full file, 3 prior complaints, all involving stops of black men, all describing the same pattern, and stopped without clear cause, questioned aggressively, searched without consent. In each case, the complaints were reviewed internally, noted, and filed. No disciplinary hearings, no reassignment, no follow-up. The sensitivity course he completed online in 46 minutes. The system marked it as satisfactory. 3 warnings, all visible, all ignored. Not by Marsh, by the department. 3 chances to intervene, retrain, reassign, to look at a man whose pattern was sitting in his own personnel file and say not anymore. 3 times the institution looked at the evidence and decided it wasn't enough to act on. Until Marcus Dillard. Formal termination. 12 days after the incident, no severance. Pension suspended pending the outcome of a federal civil rights investigation. Torres receives a 6-month suspension and mandatory retraining. It's not for what he did on that driveway, for what he didn't do, for standing beside a man in handcuffs on his own property and never once saying, maybe we should stop. The FBI doesn't issue public statements. They don't need to. The Office of Professional Responsibility forwards its findings to the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. A formal investigation opens into the department's handling of prior complaints, not just Marsh's complaints, all of them. The neighbor who made the 911 call, the woman who never gave her name. Investigators interview her 3 weeks later. She admits she didn't see a break-in, didn't see forced entry, didn't see a weapon. She saw a black man near a vehicle on a street where she thought she knew everyone. She didn't know the Dillards. 4 years on the same street. She never introduced herself, and never knocked on their door, never waved across the yard. 4 years of living 3 houses apart and choosing not to see them. 8 months after the incident, the department implements mandatory verification protocols for all vehicle theft calls. A civilian oversight board, the first in the county's history. A body camera audit program. New use of force review standards. All of it born from 22 minutes on a driveway. Marcus Dillard's attorney releases a single statement on his behalf. Special Agent Dillard has spent 12 years protecting the constitutional rights of American citizens. He expects the same rights to be extended to him. 1 sentence. From a man who stood in handcuffs in his own driveway while 2 officers searched his car, entered his home, and never once considered the possibility that they were wrong. It's not because the evidence wasn't there. It was everywhere. The open front door, the luggage, the wife, the neighbor, the registration, the mailbox, the keys on the roof of the car. They didn't miss the evidence. They decided it didn't apply to him. If you've ever been in your own space, your own yard, your own car, doing something ordinary, and felt someone watching you like you didn't belong there, you already know why this story matters. And if you haven't, now you understand why it does. And if you're still here, tell me in the comments. Was this just bad policing or was it something deeper? Be honest. Because the answer matters more than most people want to admit.